I'm Joe Giglio for NJ Sports Now on this Wednesday, September the 23rd. The baseball world mourning the passing of one of the great ambassadors, really great characters in the history of the sport, Yogi Berra, passing away at the age of 90. And as all the remembrances come in, and we remember what Yogi Berra was, who he was, and what he meant for Major League Baseball, it is very, very natural to talk about the person that Yogi Berra was, and talk about the colorful character that Yogi Berra was. And we all know some of those great quotes, those Yogiisms. His way of being was just infectious. People wanted to be around Yogi Berra, and when they were around Yogi Berra, they were laughing and they were smiling, because that was the kind of person he was throughout all his years. When you come to a fork in the road, take it. It ain't over till it's over. It's deja vu all over again. No one goes there these days. It's too crowded. I mean, there's hundreds of those, and if you ever spend any time or talk to or just listen to Yogi Berra, you probably have a story or two that you want to share. And I think, amazingly, because of how great of a person, because of how gregarious of a personality, and because of how larger-than-life Yogi Berra was, despite only being 5'7", he was larger than life. Because of all that, Yogi Berra is one of the most unique, great players in the history of the Yankees, in that he's not talked about really for how great of a player he is, and in a way, somehow, some way, as a Yankee great, he's underrated. If you go and look at the player Yogi Berra was, and I feel like not many people do it, and really look at the numbers that Yogi Berra put up, they just say, oh yeah, he was a great player on a great team, play with Mickey Mantle, play with Joe DiMaggio, won 10 World Series, and he was a colorful character. All that is true, but Yogi Berra wasn't just a great player, he's one of the great players of all time. And he's underrated as an all-time Yankee great. 358 home runs as a catcher, and some of the numbers he put up are absolutely startling. From 1950 to 1956, 7-year stretch, he finished first, second, or third in the MVP every single season, including winning back-to-back MVPs at one point in there. In 1950, he had 28 home runs, hit 322, only struck out 12 times, catching nearly 150 games. 5 times more home runs than strikeouts in a season. He never struck out 38 times over a full year. First in World Series history in hits, second in runs and RBIs, third in home runs, the 10 rings. Yogi Berra wasn't just this great personality, wasn't just an ambassador for baseball. That's what he's most known for. That's what his legacy will always be. But on top of that, he's one of the great hitters, one of the great players to ever play the game. And because of everything great that he brought off the field, and because of who he was off the field, and the legacy that he left off the field, he really is the rare New York Yankee whose playing career on the field, the greatness he had on the field, somehow, some way, is underrated. When you talk about Yogi Berra and you talk about his legacy, all that stuff goes first. But don't forget, this wasn't just a bit player on great teams. This is one of the great catchers that ever lived. I'm Joe Giglio for NJ Sports Now.